Hi Cameron, very nice to meet you here in Chengdu. Can you send your greeting to our Kicksivison fans?
Hi Kicksivison, my name's Cameron. I'm a senior footwear designer for 361.
So how is the feeling to be here with 361 with this campaign? What's your impression about the city?
So I got here last night, and it was late, and it was dark, and it was rainy. So I don't know anything yet, but when we get done with this, we're going to go for a run and take a look at the city. I've never been here before. I've been coming to China for 17 years, and this is my first time to Chengdu, so I'm excited to be here and see what it's all about.
Okay, maybe you should try some Chinese food.
Yeah, I heard it's hot. I heard it's spicy.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Can you please tell us something about yourself to the Chinese runner or our sneakerheads?
Sure, what would you like to know?
Okay, like your portfolio or your backgrounds, where you come from, this kind of thing, very interesting things.
Yeah, so I started out a long time ago, about 20 years ago, and I designed cars, and then I got pulled from cars by a big footwear brand in Oregon, and started designing shoes about 18 years ago, 19 years ago, and I've been doing that ever since. I love shoes, so I've been designing for lots of different brands and lots of different types of shoes, and I love footwear, so it's the best job in the world.
Okay. So honestly, before I saw your sketch work, I don't really know how complicated it is. So can you tell us something about your daily work as a footwear designer?
So I think one of the funnest things about being a footwear designer is you get to draw every single day. So even if I'm working on the computer, I like to take a little bit of time and draw. For me, drawing's the funnest part, coming up with new ideas, finding different solutions to different problems. But yeah, it's definitely complicated. There's lots of different parts. I mean, you're looking at, just the outsole of the shoe, and there's all these different parts, all of different materials, and but the funnest part is trying to figure out a great solution to make shoes better so that it applies to life in general. Try again. That's what I've been doing for the last 20 years, is just working harder to try to make something better.
I learned that you have worked with General Motors and Ford before, and tell us something about your this experience with car design.
Yeah, car design's a lot different than footwear design. The fun thing about working on a car, though, is you get to sit in it and drive around in it. That's kind of cool. So you get to see it on the road. But I think the thing that I like about footwear that's a little different than cars is it's actually something you wear. When you get dressed in the morning, I don't know if people realize, but you're representing yourself in how you appear, which is different than a car because you get in and out of a car. Whereas footwear, it becomes a part of what you're trying to say about who you are as a person. So I think that's the part I like mostly about footwear, but designing cars was definitely fun. That's how I learned about industrial design. That's how I learned about form and function and, the benefit of designing something with how someone interacts with it. But yeah, cars were fun, but I think shoes are better.
Anything like interesting projects you have involved in?
Yeah, so I worked on the Camaro that was in the original Transformers movie, the Bumblebee car. I worked on that a long time ago, and then I worked on some different SUVs for Ford back in the early 2000s. Yeah.
So what that makes you turn your career from car design to shoe, like footwear design? Is there a turning point?
Yeah, I was recruited by a footwear brand while I was working for the motor companies, and they said, hey, you should try designing shoes. And I'd never thought about it before, and so they said, hey, why don't you come and we'll give you a job designing shoes. So I went and did that, and I really liked it, and I haven't turned back since because I've been enjoying it so much.
And talking about the trophies you won with I think there's many trophies you won with the footwear design. Okay, it's really impressive for the achievements you've made. Something about your former design, like the former brands you made.
Yeah, so when you're starting out in footwear, the first thing you learn is that you don't really know too much. I thought I knew a lot about footwear. I collected shoes when I was a kid. I wore all the Jordans, and I grew up wearing all the different types of shoes, the pump, and all these cool shoes. So I thought I knew about footwear, and until I started designing, I didn't realize how much work went into it. but I've designed skateboard shoes, hiking shoes, sandals, boots, snowboard boots, running shoes. So I just love all types of shoes. So it's been fun learning. Every time you design a different type of shoe, you learn about how it's made and who it's for and how it works.
So talking about this brand, you're now working with 361. When and how did you start with working them?
So I've been working with 361 right around, it's probably been about a year and a half, 2 years now, about 2 years. They were in Portland, and we met up and we talked about some projects we could do together, and we've been working together ever since.
So how things work out till now?
No, good. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's actually been probably the time of my footwear career where I've kind of been the most creative and tried things that I probably wouldn't have ever tried anywhere else. So it's been really fun. Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far.
Okay, of course, to me, like the former success you made, that what is the most important factor that can be, we said, inherited from the former one to the now the partner you're working with?
So I think all the things that I've learned as I've gone through the last 20 years, 18 years designing shoes, it's kind of a culmination. They build upon each other. So the nice thing about I'd say the last 9-10 years as I've been learning about running shoes is biomechanics. That's been a big changing point for me, and how the body interacts with the shoe and how the shoe interacts with the ground. It's very important to figure out how those things work together to make a great running shoe.
I mean, it's got to be some difference from different brands with two countries. Do you have anything to tell us about this kind of point of view, different country, different brands?
Yeah, so primarily where I've worked before, I've been in the U.S. So I've been working with, I've been in the U.S. working with the China brand. So the factories are in China, the workers are in China. I think the most beneficial thing about working with 361 is the companies in China. So they get to develop things faster. They get to see market move faster, and they can respond. So it's been nice because it's kind of the opposite of what I've been doing before. Before I was designing in the U.S. and we'd send it to China. Now I get to work directly with China to make footwear.
Aware of that, professional running shoes are strictly and scientifically designed with the intended features, right? Can you brief us something about the international product line with 361?
So I think some of the features that we did with this shoe, with the Titan, that are specific to this shoe is we use special compounds, right? So we've got the rubber that's back here. This is actually carbon rubber, which is hard. It's really stiff. Whereas we put special rubber that comes up here in the forefoot. This is cushioned rubber, this blown rubber. It actually has foam in it. You can actually feel it. It's very comfortable and cushioned. So that's one of the things we did when we were working on this shoe. Some of the other things we worked on specifically with this shoe is there's a piece of material that comes underneath the upper here, and it works a lot for the fit and the comfort. So those are two of the things that we worked really hard on, is to make sure that it's comfortable and that it fits well.
I mean, talking about the appearance, it's more like a traditional impression of a running shoe. It's very functional. And now, the fashion is put some like a knitted high collar.
Right.
Do you think it's necessary? Do you even agree this idea?
So there's, I think, pluses and minuses with knit. Knit I think is super neat, and it looks really nice. I think the biggest problem that people will see with knit, and it's something that we'll learn in the future here, is how do you make it fit properly? How do you make knit expand in the forefoot but stay tight in the midfoot? So it's something that we're working on, and we're actually developing some other products besides this one currently that you'll see from 361 in the next little bit.
Can we just say that this one, the Titan, is especially for Chinese runners because we have different type of feet compared to European and American guys?
Yeah, so we started off with a last that I would say fit well for America or even for European, but what we did is we adjusted the last so that it was a little bit wider. Some of the things that we learned from trying the shoe on with the Asian consumer is that it's not the same foot. My foot is not the same as your foot. So we adjusted the last because the most important thing when you're starting out is to get a good fit.
Have you ever, for the tryouts, the Chinese, maybe there's a test or tryouts for Chinese consumers, do you get any useful feedbacks from them?
Sure. Yeah, wear test feedback is super important. We have a lab, a biomechanics lab, where we test the shoes once we build them to see how they fit, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, make sure the compounds not too soft, not too hard, And then we talk to people that run, and we put shoes on them and see what they think, and then we make adjustments. This is this product that you're seeing here is the culmination of several different iterations. We did a little bit, and we talked to consumers, let them try it on. We adjusted it, talked to consumers, tried it on, and we adjusted it. So we've tried to make the product the best it can be for the consumer, to make sure that it fits and functions well.
How long did it take for the whole process?
About a year and a half. Year and a half. We just finally got it to this point, but it's been, which is about right. You know, if you're doing it right, you can make a shoe in 6 months, but if you want it to really be dialed in and work well, it takes a couple of different iterations. Yeah.
So some inspiration from, like, I saw the sketchwork from like Universal things.
Yeah. So yeah, when we start out, they give us a brief, and the marketing team will go and try to see what the market's doing and where we want to go. And then when I'm looking at things, when I'm sketching, I try to look. This shoe has a lot of fluid movement, so you look at nature. I think it's probably my biggest influence. I think everything that's been designed well, you can find something in nature that represents that, where we get that inspiration. So I look outside when I'm trying to design something.
I see the word like Joyride here. Is that you bring this up, or it's coming from the brands? And what is that? Can you give us an explanation?
Yeah, so Joyride is actually, in English, it's actually two words put together. So joy is happiness, and then ride is the experience. So when we were coming up with the idea of what's going to make this special, what are we doing, with this product, and we really wanted it to be a product that when you wear, it would make you happy, and it would give you a fun experience. So that's kind of where Joyride came from. The technology and the design that came behind it is what allows it to be that experience. So the joy and the ride come together.
Finally, we want to talk about future something. What is your ambition, or what is your goals with this brand?
Yeah, so we were actually just yesterday in the materials lab picking out materials we have other projects we're currently working on that will come out in the next 6 months. And we're going to keep evolving the product so that it can be better. And we're trying some things like you were talking about earlier with knit. We got some stuff like that's coming, and engineered meshes, things like that. That'll be a little different, and you'll see those coming from 361 soon.
Because our fans were more like this kind of streetwear things, all right?
Yeah.
And that's all. That's it. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.